There's two things you need to know about me. One, every night before I go to sleep, I like to scroll Wikipedia in bed. And secondly, I've been watching a unedited YouTube series about a text-only deduction game. So when I found this game, which basically combines these two, I immediately stopped everything and bought Last Wiki Kozlovka. User idea. So I've seen the first 5 minutes of this and then yeah, I stopped it. So I now just clicked in this field and it already types the number for me. So I'll keep clicking. So my user ID is 78092. Passcode, same thing. It's 5 letters long. And we're in. Easiest crack of my life. We've got mail. Mail. Lysenko V, from Lysenko V, I assume. V Lysenko. Kozlovka.local. Potential job in Kozlovka. I've read your articles and I think you can notice what others miss. You're thorough, more importantly careful. That's what I need. I've granted you limited access to the database. It holds more than enough if you know where to look. Attachments, continue. Do we click the attachment first? Let's see. Alright, also all this dithering doesn't really work nice with streaming, but yeah, that's it. So this is really crisp on my other screen, but I don't have a recording setup on that screen. I think still the game is gonna be a lot of fun if you're into this game. By the way, this scan line, that is actually there, that's not an artifact. Instructions. So we are now still opening the attachment, I guess. Use hyperlinks to navigate around the database. Drag the right words into the report. This is here. When you are satisfied with your conclusion, submit the findings to me. I will review them. And then we can scroll. Or like this. So we can zoom in if we want to really study this pixel, for example. In the mail, press the attachment file you would like to view. Hold. Yeah, okay, we did that, I think. So we can close this. Really love the vibe of this old computer system. Anything here? I think these are just the actual game settings, yeah. Controls, reload, save. Wow. Okay, so yeah, that was this. This is our only email. So what do we have here? Oh, that's the attachment. And then we have the database, which is the wiki with a beautiful black and white picture of a village. And this is a road or a river. Oh, we even... So this is a cutout. That's good to remember that we missed the sides there. Yeah. Yeah, I assume this is a road, single road, forest, fields. Not sure how important this all is, but it's fun to look at. And then we have the entry for Kozlovka. We can drag this, I think, to here. Yeah, so this is what we need to fill out. X is a quiet town in Zarnava. It is beside the X, a vibrant woodland with a very distinct ecosystem at the heart of the forest. A tall tree stands proud that the locals refer to as the blank. The town itself has a thriving blank business, one which boasts bountiful harvests and provides food sustainability. Right, so I think we can do this. And then we're reading. So we need to figure out the woodland. Kozlovka is a small town located in the eastern region of Zarnava, nestled at the edge of the Białowieża forest. Białowieża forest. Białowieża forest. The town boasts its agricultural achievements with incredible fertile soil. Kozlovka was founded in 1878-87 and survived significant challenges including German occupation during World War II and the later Soviet influence. So now we can click around a bit. Not sure how deep we can click around. So we have an image here of the Bialowieza forest, including Cyrillic, which does not say exactly the same, funnily enough. This says Belo, I think Belovesha, but that's all slight alterations, I think, of pronunciation and transliteration. Bialowieza forest is located next to the town of Kozlovka. Known for its distinctive natural features, it's home to an ancient tree, the Draken Oak, which is believed to be over 1,000 years old. It's also home to a unique and rare fungus, symbiotic ergot. So that's the name of the tree. We can zoom out here. This is the same. This has a nice symbol here. Kind of a cube, I think. Does this help us? The bookmark allows you to bookmark the article visible. Click on the okay, visible in the flowchart. Not sure what that means. The flowchart gives you access to any visited article. Click and drag. So how do we access this flowchart? This is the image viewer. Oh, uh-oh. Redacted bypass. Enter your system code, followed by the local area code. Okay. Not sure. So where's this flowchart? Do we go back? Oh, here's the flowchart. Oh, I really love this. This is such... Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm such a fan of this kind of stuff, but... Yeah, this is the perfect view for a wiki structure, right? Oh, I really love this. So let's dive, maybe, so we can go breadth first or depth first, basically. So let's go, what is this? Breadth first. So let's click this link, agriculture, with some nice graph. Doesn't have a title, so, okay, it has ups and downs. Currently on the downswing, but these are crazy boosts. Do we see the war? Yeah, maybe. Kozlovka is most known for its agriculture achievements. So normal wiki, this would not start like this, but this is probably especially from Kozlovka's perspective. Normally you would start with agriculture explanation, not how it's relevant to something else. Their yearly yield supplies around 10% of the food in Zarnava, which I assume is kind of a fake Eastern Bloc country, not sure. It's half Balkan, half ex-USSR, I don't know. Their medicinal herbs are also known to be overtly potent. Is that... So they have a thriving ... business, which boasts bountiful harvests, or is it just agriculture business? And provides food sustainability. Or maybe it's about fertilizer or something. Medicinal herbs. Even with their success, there have been pushes to industrialize their practices, most notably the most modern farming initiative proposed in the 90s. So what the graph is for, we don't really know. Medicinal herbs. Oh, I actually love these kind of pictures. This is so nice. Ironically, due to Kozlovka's incredibly fertile soil, I think we go there next, the medicinal herbs grown in the area are too potent for use and are not approved by the government. However, some locals vouch for their effectiveness, such as the local pharmacist, Dr. Mstislav Draganov, and the witch, although she advocates for its use in ancient pagan rituals. This has been modified. Okay, now we're getting into spooky territory. Maybe I'm already into way too deep. I only need to know what kind of business they have. So maybe go back, maybe watch this later. Check the fertile soil. Oh, this is the fertile soil. Agriculture. So maybe it's just the agriculture business which they post. Uh-oh. Passcode hint. Date of winter festival. So we can see... Oh, the Dragonev family is the ones who founded the place, I assume. And then we need to find this code. Maybe I need pen and paper, but I have it lying around here. And German occupation we can look at, but that's also for later. The Battle of the Forest, also modified. So let's say this is just the answer. Not sure, but does it make sense? It boasts how... So the agriculture business boasts bountiful harvests and provide... Yeah. I think that makes sense. Oh. Is this correct? That is correct. I assume that's the conclusion. So we get a new email because we made our very complicated report. So Lysenko is mailing us again, and he needs more, or she needs more than this. You found something, but not enough. If you want to keep going, you'll need to understand where this place began. Look for patterns and connections. The flowchart is a tool, not a solution. Follow the threads, not the labels. Yeah. So this is what we need to answer. Do we start there? I think we do, although there's something to say to just take in information, but I think it's good to know which information we are looking for. Engraved on the tree, there are 2 runes. The top, so did we look at the picture of the tree? We didn't even click the tree. No. Okay, these are the 2 runes. A kind of cross with more crosses and this zigzaggy double helix type thing. And then here's also some signs, which are maybe planets. So we need to figure out the names of these runes. The top being and the bottom being. The locals clearly hold spiritual beliefs tied to the forest. These beliefs are not unfounded, for there are colonies of around the tree. The fungus is likely the cause of the... So that's the name of the fungus, I think. Likely the cause of the town's agricultural success. So they have spiritual beliefs, and this report claims that it's not unfounded because of this symbiotic ergot. Claviceps symbiotica, symbiotic ergot, is a unique fungus in the Bialowieza forest that relies on a symbiotic relationship with their plant host, the Draken oak. The fungus is known to cause extraordinary fertility of the surrounding land. Dr. Kazimir Ostrovsky was the leading expert in the symbiotic ergot. Though uncommon, it can also be used as a medicinal herb. Anything to watch here? So these are mushrooms. I think this is our answer though. Oh, okay, yeah, we have this open, I assume, and then we can click. Well, don't want to click here. So now I think, yeah, that makes sense, right? A colony of this fungus. Take a look. Oh, yeah, I love this. And then it has a question mark for which I haven't read, although I did click one and didn't fully read it. And oh yeah, so zoomed out this font becomes hard to read, but that's just our resolution of the fake computer. Yeah, I really love this. So we need to learn about these runes. And we need to learn about the Winterfest, so we can go here, I think. Winter Festival. So let's go. Wait, what? Oh, this was the guy, right? Here. You cannot have both of these open. Dr. Dragonov is. So means they are still alive, right? Anything of significance here? Not really, I'd say. He was the first to formulate a medicine using the local colony of symbiotic ergot. No one has been able to replicate his success. Medicinal herbs. Yeah, we've read that. And the witch. Let's click the witch. With a one red eye. So this is a 3-color computer. Or 1-color computer. Or 2-color computer. Well, it has red. Or pink almost. The witch is a local shaman who owns a small shop on Kozlovka's high street. She is most known for her appearance, with her iconic bloodshot eye. Even as a pillar of Kozlovka's culture, there is a decline in interest for ancient pagan rituals. As a tourist, you can get a signature spiritual chalk. I think we have to, if we want to learn about runes, we have to go in this direction. Spiritual chalk is the flagship product of the witch, a local shaman on Kozlovka's high street. It is advertised to be able to commune with the surrounding nature and the souls of those who perished with rune symbols. So here we see a kind of wheel. It does have this similar, so it's similar to what we saw on the stone from the forest, I think, but then these were straight instead of a circle, so like a hexagon. Traditionally, it's a woman's job to mark sites with rune symbols, as many did in the past. So this is a dead end in the graph, funnily enough. Yeah, we can see. Well, not sure if that guarantees. Yeah, I think it just adds all links, right? So this is a dead end. Even if we have, well, yeah, because there's no question mark. So this is a dead end on this flow. Yeah, they call it the flow chart, which is a graph. How do we get back? Here. So we go back because we want to learn about the winter festival. Let's see. So this is password locked. If we can go here. Modern Farming Initiative in the 90s, which is now in game. This is not recorded in the 90s. This video. I could try to read this, but I don't think we have to. It's a nice PowerPoint. If that was already invented, a nice, how would you call it without naming it, a presentation. Was this already available in the 90s? These screens and then a projector with such, probably. The Modern Farming Initiative was proposed by Mayor Jan Dragonov, also a Dragonov, in 1991 to revise Kozlovka's agricultural practices. It was approved by the Zarnavian government after achieving independence in the same year. So this is the Berlin Wall, etc. I think. The proposal involved Dr. Kazimir Ostrovsky, which we have seen before, who was invited to the town to undergo research. The proposal was ultimately scrapped in 1992. So now we have Jan Dragonov. We're not closer to a winter festival. Let's check the government. Also password restricted. Year of Sarnava independence, which was 1991, 1991. So this is like a intermediate puzzle. I just have to click to cycle through the numbers, by the way. Oh, not too enthusiastic. So very nice that everything is playable by mouth, actually. I like that. So this is the first page that we unlocked with the password. No image, but we do get the Zarnavian Cultural Preservation Initiative, or ZCPI. This initiative started in 1991 when Zarnava gained its independence. Its purpose was to preserve sites and documents of cultural significance. So this is, where did we come from? Government. So we click the government, but we get this preservation initiative. Maybe that's what the email was hinting at, something that the titles and the links not always match. But we do get a list of the kind of cultural heritage. See below a list of topics related to the ZCPI. I didn't make it up. It's actually how they call this. Let's just add a bookmark. Not sure if it's necessary. Drake and Oak. I think it's not necessary. So we read that. Modern Farming Initiative. We read that, which is also a cultural significant thing. Oh, the Slavic rune symbols. And the town ledger. So I think to go on, of course, we have to do this. No images here. Sarnavians have an Eastern Slavic ancestry. So not Balkan, Eastern Slavs. I think literally Yugoslavia means Southern Slavs. And then what's the other option? Western Slavs, not sure if they exist. And formed pagan beliefs, some of which come in the form of runes. Few locals, like the witch, still believe they hold power. See below a list of common Slavic symbols. So this we want to bookmark, probably. This is the one we saw on the stone, not on the tree. Associated with the god of thunder, Perun, this Slavic rune was believed to offer protection against misfortune and ill omens. Oh, that's good. Love that. Rodavic, we saw this as well, I think on the chalk image, if I'm not mistaken. This is a Slavic rune linked to family lineage and ancestral blessings frequently found on household objects. Rodavic is Vini. We saw that as well on the tree, I think, which I call planets. But that's not the two they mean. The Slavic rune is a symbol of forgiveness and peace. It's often used in pagan rituals associated with restless spirits. Also, always tough with these detective deduction games. How much magic is there? Because then everything is possible, of course. But we'll figure it out once we go along. Ximena's cross. This Slavic rune is a symbol of fertility tied to bountiful harvests. It's often carved into tools or boundary stones. So we want to add this. It was at the top, I think. We could cross-check it. Let's bookmark that as well. And then the twin glyph. Yeah, we saw that one. The two interwoven lines represent duality, growth and decay, renewal and remembrance. Some rural communities believe that this Slavic rune was a symbol of transition rather than an end. So we have everything. Let's double check if we can find the tree. So here we have the Slavic rune. So now I bookmarked everything. I don't think we need to bookmark this. We don't need to bookmark anything. The tree. And now I should have bookmarked the tree. Yeah. So we go on, although there is a third rune drawn, but it's clear that they mean this one. So this is me typing the report on a typewriter who does one word at a time and not one letter at a time. New mail. The real brief. Okay, so these were of course very easy requests. Thank you, apologies for being cautious. I needed to know you were the right person for the job. Well, I think we've proved ourselves with this very tough task of doing what I already love, which is scrolling Wikipedia. I haven't been fully honest with you. This isn't just research. I'm a bit allergic to this isn't just from reading too much ChatGPT generated content, but this is 1991, right? Or 1997, I don't know. So this cannot be AI generated in-game. This isn't just research. Someone I cared about disappeared in the early 90s. Okay, now we get to the real meat of it. Yeah, so I have to take it in as well as read it out loud. But this Lysenko person, lost somebody in the early 90s. Official records are incomplete and inconsistent. Most people stopped asking. I didn't. Is that the whole email? Okay, yeah, and then this. It's such a funny way if this was actually how people communicate and then have this report where all data clearly is already almost there. But let's read that as well. I think we need to. In the 1990s, there were a string of disappearances, most notably one person, and then another person, I think, because the word also was also a victim of disappearance. It was because of this that this how do you say this idea, this agriculture thing was scrapped. The victims' belongings were found in the forest. I don't know. We need, of course, to really know this, which is where they were presumed to have met their ends. Oh, yeah. No, this one is scrapped. And that maybe implies that Mayor Jan Dragunov was disappeared. He was disappeared. But we need to learn more, I think. Or Kazimir Ostrovsky. So let's read into these two guys, which, yeah, and these are, now we come into this modified territory. Jan Dragunov is the current mayor of Kozlovka. He came into mayorship after he superseded his father Attila Dragunov in 1992. So he became the mayor in 1992. So he wasn't a mayor here. And he is still a mayor now, maybe. Maybe that's implied. Attila Dragunov. Oh, I shouldn't have clicked. Also modified. Attila Dragunov was the mayor of Kozlovka from 1945 to 1992. That's a long period. He was best known for establishing the Kozlovka police force and his so they didn't have that one before. And his affection for bisons. Very cool. I love some bison. Super Autopets reference. He was superseded by his son, Jan Dragunov, when he mysteriously vanished as part of the tragedy commonly known as the 90s disappearance. So I was right to click here. Mark this before I forget, because I also want to finish reading this. He was best known for proposing the Modern Farming Initiative, in which he invited Dr. Kazimir Ostrovsky to Kozlovka to undergo research. Alright, so it was at least Attila Dragunov who disappeared. Not sure if he was the most notable one or also a victim. Maybe Ostrovsky. '90s disappearances. It also has this symbol of I forgot. But at least it didn't help. Maybe this is still the stone. Maybe that's the whole hint, that it is in the forest. 14. Glasses. So somebody with glasses is victim number 14. Is that what we conclude here? No glasses. No glasses. Yes, glasses. Do we have to look at these glasses? And how do we get back? And let's highlight this guy. Here we go. And let's highlight this. Yeah. So that's clearly number 14 is clearly I forgot the name, but this guy, this Ostrovsky. 15 people vanished from Kozlovka over the course of 2 months in the summer of 1992. Most notably, Attila Dragunov was among the missing, as well as one non-local. I think Jan Dragunov wasn't local. Ostrovsky was not local, because he was brought in for this initiative. And he was most notably. He was the most notable, so I think that means we can do this. Investigation led by Jan Dragunov, the son of Attila, ran cold after a year, having only found a few items from several victims. This was the most recent tragedy that the town had to endure. Uh-oh. There's more tragedies. And there's no hint. So I think we can conclude that this is talking about Ostrovsky, right? I think we can also just get there from here. Did we even read this? Kazimir Ostrovsky is a Russian mycologist, so he is the outsider. Mycologist is someone who specializes in the study of rare fungi. Also looks like a... He moved to Zornava and dedicated most of his 30-year career studying the symbiotic ergot. He was invited to Kozlovka as part of the Modern Farming Initiative, so he already was in Zornava because he was 30 years, primarily researching the ecosystem in the Bialowieza forest, which is, this victim at least, was maybe all no. So this is talking about Ostrovsky. This victim's belongings were found in the Bialowieza forest. Let's click on it to prove that this is the same stone here. That's the hint I think we were supposed to get, which is where they were presumed to have met their ends. Let's go. Continue. I'm liking this game. I think it's supposed to be quite a short game as well. Maybe a one-taker, maybe not. Let's see. You can already see it by the duration of the video. Dig deeper. That's the title of an email I love to get. I can't believe they were so close to the town. The victims, where they were found. Is that what they mean? That they were found in the forest? This changes a lot of things. I need you to investigate further. By now, you must have tried to access our tragedy page. We normally don't show this to the public, but I'll make an exception. Volha, so we now know the full name. In Kozlovka, so the person emailing me also just lives in Kozlovka still. Or is this us? Yeah, oh, this is us. We are Volha Lysenko. Okay, town hall. Also, so we live in Kozlovka and we got an email from Kozlovka town hall management. These are our postal codes. So we don't live that close. Southwest 2, Northwest 6, I don't know. Thank you for contacting the town hall. Oh, no, maybe this is still a copy of, so this is from, so we are not, scratch that, we are back. We are not Lysenko, but they are sending us a copy of the request for access. And then we get the code 7328. 7328. After considering your close relationship with the governing bodies, your request to access the Kozlovka tragedies has been approved. Below is a one-time code to access the page. Regards Kozlovka Town Hall Management. So let's go there. Here. 7328. Enter. Also have to read this. Oh, 7328. My bad. Let's highlight. For a small town, Kozlovka had its fair share of tragedies. Among them, these are the tragedies that coincide with sudden spikes in Kozlovka's agricultural yield. So we saw this graph. So I think we have to match it with the graph, maybe the timeline. So there's 3 tragedies that match the timeline of this agricultural yield graph. Coincidentally, these tragedies were all committed in the forest. So we have the 90s disappearance, we saw that one. So maybe check this graph first. Where did we saw that? On the agriculture page. This is here. So we have one in, let's say, 1890s. One in the in the war, basically, 1945. And one in the 1990s. So this is the one we are already studying. I think. From earliest to latest, so this is the latest one. Let's read the rest. Summer Plague. Oh, this is close, so we have to... I was just thinking how close I had to look at these dates. This may be a coin. This is very small. Maybe a vial and a coin. In August 1990, an unusual wave of deaths spread across the town. Most victims had pre-existing medical conditions and were found deceased in their homes. Postmortems revealed unidentified fungal matter within the bloodstream. The too potent symbiotic ergot, perhaps? Suspected at first to be a fast-moving contagion, the tragedy ended as suddenly as it began, so possibly targeted. Very weird. Very weird. Now I want to highlight everything, which is the same as highlighting nothing. Animal killings. So we do have to maybe remove this and figure out how close. So we have 1990 and 1992. This one is not one of them, but I am going to read it. Is this the same symbol? These are bisons. Tied to a post. Not sure what this is. In 1965, a tragedy occurred when locals were reporting their pets missing to the authorities. Uh-oh, so sad. It was revealed that dozens of animals were found mutilated at the foot of Drake and Oak. So this might be some ritual. Just making assumptions here. Although the investigation was quickly resolved, how? The bodies were proven difficult to retrieve due to them decaying at a faster rate in the soil. Weird. Battle of the Forest. Yeah, this is the middle one. Also modified, so we see some war. I don't really love this kind of stuff. I'm way too sensitive, but we have to make do as a reporter in a dramatic story. So look away if you're the same to me. From 1941 to 1944, Kozlovka was occupied by the Germans and was a main source of food supply for the battalions occupying the region. In June 1944, a huge offensive was launched, cornering the Nazis in the Bialowieza forest. Dozens of lives, so all the strange things happened in this forest. Dozens of lives were lost to the forest, which ended in a Soviet victory. Afterwards, Sonava declared independence in 1991, so that's a long time afterward. So this is the middle tragedy. And then we have the Festival Massacre, which also teaches us the date of the Winter Festival, I was hoping. Oh yeah, well, at least we learn where it is. This is also modified. So do we have to mark all those that are modified, maybe? Not doing that right now, but I think it could be useful later. In 1892, so this is the first one, clearly. Dozens. Also, it's always dozens of locals, it seems. Were killed during the Winter Festival, which we want to learn about. The culprit was caught murdering festival attendees in front of the Drake and Oak again. When cornered, the culprit slit their own throat. Oh, that's very nice. And joined their victims at the foot of the tree. This is the earliest tragedy recorded in. So this just links back, I assume, yeah. So let's also learn about, not this one, but the Winter Festival. 15th December. So that's 1512, or if you're American, 1215. Maybe they accept both. And here you see that they are actually drawing this first rune. The Winter Festival occurs every year on the 15th December. The festival celebrated the hardship between people endured through the year. Wives would take up their husbands' tools as a sign of kinship and equal footing. The holiday is no longer celebrated. That's a long time. Also maybe not exactly 100 years, but this 92 is also very... So since the other tragedy, basically 100 years. So we now know this thing, which allows us to watch something, and now we have to go back to the agriculture page and see that this peak is after 1990. So we are not looking for the summer thing, but for the, yeah, this one. No, but that's not a tragedy. This one. Yeah. I think I also already fill in the password before I forget, which allows us to watch this. One. Let's do the European way. Probably both are right. Beautiful stone. Anything outside the frame? No. Let's read this and then submit, because otherwise I have opened it and not read it. Kozlovka was founded by Bogdan Draganov and Alina Draganova, his wife presumably. The story goes that their love guided them to this plot of land in hopes of starting anew as a family. A memorial was erected to honor the family, which includes a quote that reads, "For the loss of a few, there is still many." That's kind of strange, right? We are losing a lot of a few people, a few of a lot people. Okay, let's submit this. It's a bit of a weird question, of course, to form it like this, that we have to only put in exactly 3 and then figure out which 3, but whatever. Because, yeah, the other one, this summer one with the animals, was also in the forest, right? Redacted bypass. Your findings have been more than helpful. They're disturbing. This pattern we're uncovering, it's not random. Someone knew, someone let it happen. Yeah, I see a lot of patterns. You must have redacted bypass installed on your system, like any good journalist. It's been a while since it has been prohibited by the government, so here's a refresher on how to exit it. So that was, I think, the last tab. Access it. This is cool. Hacker stuff, right? In order to enable redacted bypass, you must first have your system code. You'll find this in your computer system. (342). Then you will need to find the local area code of the city you'd like to bypass. We saw that as well in the previous attachment. Local area code. Oh yeah, I was right that these are the cardinal directions basically. You can find these in all addresses. So we have the 342. So we don't have apple, but we have mushroom here. 342. Four, 5, 1. Let's put this in. 3, 4, 2, 4, 5, 1. Clickbait. Welcome to the redacted bypass. With this program you can access data from articles that have been previously modified. So we have seen some, I haven't marked them. Insert article name to continue. I think we want to keep this open. Can we resize windows? We cannot. Well, the mail is not necessary anymore. So we can now see the rest of certain articles. And then we are asked to fill in the following information. After the government's disapproval of their product, somebody caused the tragedy. Well, this is the name of the tragedy. Bit of a weird sentence. But otherwise it would have said somebody caused, and then we wouldn't have known that it's a tragedy maybe. So I think that's just to make this a bit more playable. Because of this, somebody, maybe somebody else, proposed the something. Maybe this system to recover everything, to abandon any uses of, oh no, maybe uses of this mushroom. Maybe, just guessing here. So let's go back to my favorite part, although I immediately also see why this is not the way to navigate Wikipedia, because it very quickly goes out of hand. I think you could even improve this, but I just love this whole system. So we have now the opportunity to see this redacted, modified information. Maybe we just have to learn more general stuff first. So, oh yeah, we also just unlocked this one previously. So let's go from here. Kozlovka was founded by Bogdan Dragunov. Bogdan Dragunov was a founding member of Kozlovka. Hello? Originally a carpenter, his career shifted to farming after having their first child, who was born sickly. He was famous for being a terrible farmer, but nevertheless persevered because of the fertile soil. He was always devout to his wife and is famously said to have borrowed her strength in times of need. Is this going to be a foreshadowing for something? Nothing very special happening here. Alina Dragunovka, his wife. Nice dress. She was founding member of Kozlovka. She was incredibly spiritual and set up the winter festival as her way of celebrating her husband's crops. The festival attracted dozens of people. But this was very short-lived, right? Because they founded this I think in 1882, and then there was a tragedy in 1892, so this was only 10 years, this festival, whose families make up Kozlovka today. She was always devout to her husband and was known in the community to set everything aside for the sake of her family. Nothing ominous and mysterious here. Do we need to read this? Can we read this? Not really. So that's a dead end. A leaf of this tree. Winter festival massacre. Their product. Is it their as in it's a person, but we don't want to say he or she, or does it mean this is a company? We haven't seen any of those, so let's check out. Yeah, so this one has changed. So we go to, and who was this again? This was the old mayor from World War II. Loved bisons. We saw some coins with bisons on it. So let's see. Oh, we don't have to keep this open. Click here and then let's see. Actually very exciting. This is just some extra information that we have to take in, but also was redacted, so that must mean something. As the town was relatively small, there was no sheriff, and so the mayor was responsible for leading investigations. Upon appointing himself sheriff, he stated, "As long as I draw breath," which he stopped doing at some point, we have learned, "I shall keep this town thriving. Know that I will do what's best for Kozlovka." So this has been modified. Do we have to take that as information as well? That somebody has modified this specific information, or is it just bonus information? So he was the sheriff. He said some stuff. Yeah, let's go. I'm tempted to unmark everything. Wait, this. Oh, this is the list of bookmarks. That's kind of cool. I think we unmark this one. This is also modified, so let's learn about Ostrovsky, who has came into this town later to study this fungus. Set. The talented mycologist went missing during his time in Kozlovka. When the mycology community asked for his research in the forest, the local government refused to release it due to sensitive information. Right. We have marked that as well. Keep pressing this to go back, but that's something else. So that was Casimir. I think we can unmark this. Or is it? Yeah, we can also mark this. I really have no strategy. Can unmark this. Was this edited? No, but oh, this is a person who proposed. Yeah, I think the modern farming initiative, right? That makes sense. That they don't want to use this magic mushroom anymore. And who proposed this? So it feels like that's the case. Can we prove that? Was proposed by Mayor Jan Draganov, so the son. I think his goal is to get rid of this ergot. And then it was scrapped again, because the power of this mushroom is running through this city. We need to find this mushroom, dragon oak, links to symbiotic ergot. I feel this is the final part. That makes sense, right? And I think we saw this weird, let me read this one more time. So it relies on symbiotic with the plant host dragon oak with the three rune symbols, extraordinary fertility. And then it was also used as a medicinal herb. We also have Mstislav Draganov, who is presumably somehow an offspring of the founding Hoppo. And he's modified, his article is modified as well, and he looks like a doctor, an actual doctor. He is a medical doctor, local pharmacist, first to formulate. Are we recording? A medicine using the local colony. No one will ever replicate his success. He is. Did it say was at these other guys who are gone? I don't know. He's a vocal advocate of using Kozlovka's medicinal herb for nationwide use. So that's his product maybe. Right, that's kind of suspicious. So he had this product. He was an advocate, but let's see what more there is to learn about Mstislav. He announced a more potent version of his medicine in 1989, but failed safety tests in the subsequent years and was not approved by the government. Yeah, so he caused a tragedy. And that was, he wanted to get rid of this modern farming initiative, Mstislav. That's very evil, I think. Medicinal herbs. Okay, so these are different. These are herbs, not the fungi themselves, but they were very potent because of this magic mushroom. And the witch also, but she wants to use it in ancient pagan rituals. and this guy has a product, so money is of course way more powerful. And then he caused the tragedy of the 90s missing disappearance thing. But I want to double check if this summer plague, what is with the summer plague? This is also modified, so let's read about the summer plague first, because this is also in the similar time span. The victims were frequent patrons of Dr. Mstislav Dragunov, who regularly complained that standard medicine would not help people with such long-standing medical conditions. After a swift investigation, the police said there was no correlation. This is what they got. Yeah, so basically I think this implies that the medicine or the product that Dragunov made they were trying to get help with these pre-existing conditions. They took this medicine and it was too strong and it killed them. Yeah. So this was he caused the tragedy. Well, did he cause the summer plague? Yes, but was it after the disapproval? Well, in time, yes, but not because of. But I think it's fair to say that he did this and not the... Because he was, he is kind of responsible for this summer plague, but is he responsible for the 90s disappearances? No, yeah, that's the ordering. Yeah, so this is not about the disappearances, this is about the summer plague. It's good that I read it. So the timeline is he invents this new medicine, it gets disapproved. Then people still take it from the village because they trust him. I don't know where they are out of hope. These people die. Then Jan Dragunov, also part of the Dragunov family, but somehow kind of opposed to this, wants to get rid of any use of the symbiotic ergot, not just the medicine use. So these Dragunov family are not helping each other. And then Attila, yes, that's the old mayor. This is the new mayor, but he only became the mayor after the death of Dragunov. So he did this before he was the mayor. But anyway, this is... Where did we find it? The summer plague. I'm fairly certain. After the comment, disapproval of the product, Dr. Mstislav Dragunov caused the tragedy summer plague. Because of this, Jan Dragunov proposed the Modern Farming Initiative, MFI, to abandon any uses of the symbiotic ergot. Not sure if that's anything ergot or just a name. Now we get a new mail about family ties. Yeah, that was something I was wondering about as well. Mstislav is a good man. Is he? Well, that's Lysenko's opinion, but I knew his ambition would get to him. To think he risked innocent lives. I may have found something that's of use. We don't know who Lysenko is missing, actually, specifically. I may have found something that's of use. What's inside is sensitive, handle it accordingly. I'll continue digging around for more material. Image 1273. I don't see the... Oh, there's the image. So it took a while to download, I assume. With the stamp. So this is not a coin, but a stamp, I think. Or how do you say this? A mark. Kozlovka. Something. Kipi. It's upside down. Well, that's too much. But this is the stamp of Kozlovka, to whom it may concern. This is a photo of a letter on a crumpled paper bin, presumably. As you may know, it has been 3 months since our mayor went missing. This is the old mayor, I think. He was dear to our hearts, but alas we come together and continue running the town. We must come together and continue running the town. The control of Kozlovka police force and its public database will be transferred to his son. Is this the database of the police force? Jan Dragunov, as he will be taking the reins of mayor of the town. With that, the passcode to the town ledger has been changed. Town ledger. We didn't even find a town ledger yet. But we do know this heading code. That's the second part of the address in the other letter. Thank you everybody for your patience. Regards, Kozlovka police force. Okay. But where is this ledger? Maybe it's something we will stumble upon. Somebody's true name is something. They were responsible for the tragedy something. They frequently return to the site of the tragedy. The witch, maybe? To carve the rune. Yeah, we have seen that rune onto the tree. So I think this is about the other rune that we also saw. So let's go to the dragon oak. And it's this rune. The circle with the diagonal double line. And what's that rune about? I don't know. Let's go from here. Not this one. We saw that one on the... Maybe let's read again what they are about. We saw that one on the stone. Protection against misfortune. Family lineages, ancestral blessings. Isvini. So this is Isvini. Symbol of forgiveness and peace. So that somebody is trying to make, to quiet the restless spirit that's in the tree. So I think this is about the witch. And then we have this town ledger lead. And then there's a tragedy. So where is the witch? In the forest. Here. Well, it was a dead end, but we still have to read this. The witch is a local shaman who owns a small shop. Appearance, bloodshot eye, that could be a lead. Pillar of Kozlovka's culture, there's decline. As a tourist, you can get the spiritual chalk. On the high street. Traditionally, it's a woman's job to mark sites. So just a random hunch, because there's only been 2 females in this story. Is this the founder woman somehow? Can we see that from the picture? It's the only one with a color in their photo. So can we learn anything from here? Not really. So there are possibly some more pages with secret messages. The World War II thing had a secret message, I think. The Battle of the Forest. Yeah, that had some redacted info. Reset. German documents showed that the occupation was not a simple invasion, but also to investigate an event that happened in the late 1800s. These documents were given to the local police force. Which documents? Oh yeah, so we might have access to these documents. And the event in the late 1800s we know, but I forgot the name. It's one of the tragedies, which is the festival massacre. And that person died. Possibly that's what this is about, right? And then the organizer of the festival is Alina. special here? Not really. So where do we get this ledger? There's some unclicked links here. Oh, here's the ledger, so that's good. So we read about the Dragon Oak, we read about the Farm Initiative, but we didn't read about the Kozlovka Town Ledger. And this has the password. The heading code of the town hall. But it's only numbers. Which was in a previous letter. Namely this one. So maybe it's 4516. Is the whole thing the heading code, or is it NW6? 4516. Let's start with that. 4516. So it's funny that I didn't even try to enter this before. Incorrect. Northwest. The heading. So where did we learn about this system? Heading code. Oh, here it says. Oh, this is the degrees. So north is 0 degrees, and then we go in steps of 45 degrees. Not sure if that makes sense, but northwest is that way, so it will be, so assuming it wraps around, it's 360 minus 45, which is 315, and then 7. Hope that's possible to follow. Otherwise rewind. 3, maybe it's not even correct. 3, 1, 5, 6. There we go. And the 6 was still there from the previous attempt. So now we have the town ledger, which has the details of the family that govern the town. So yeah, which is interesting. This Volga, which is the same name. But we have 2 more persons to learn about. I assume this just links. Yeah, Attila, the ex-major. This is the doctor, this is the new mayor. And then we have Lilia, Dragonova, and Volga, Dragonova. Ah. Okay. So let's mark this, but this is the witch. Also modified, so let's read the first normal version. Lilia Dragonova is the adoptive elder sister of Attila and Mstislav, who are brothers. So Attila and Mstislav are brothers, and then they adopted an elder sister. Their parents adopted a sister before them, or although she acted more as a caregiver to the 2 boys rather than a sibling. So this is weird, I have to take this in. So the parents adopted a person. Okay. Not much is known about her, besides the reports of her eccentric personality, and this is in 1963. She already has this red eye. In 1965, the Dragonev family announced that she had run away, though no investigation was held. So I think we know where she is now, namely still in the village, which is kind of strange that nobody noticed this. And then we have Volha, which is a woman's name, and she is the mother of Jan Dragonov, so the wife of Attila, possibly the same person that's emailing with us, but just married into the Dragonova last name. Yeah, so she is the one emailing us. Volha Dragonova is the mother of Jan Dragonov. She was a proud mother and adamantly was a proud mother and adamantly supported Jan's mayorship after her husband's disappearance. Although she no longer uses their last name, she still has close connection with the family. Okay, it's coming together a bit, so we can assume that the witch's true name is Kozlovka town ledger is Lilia Dragonova, but also not really her name because she got adopted. Then we go to the witch. We cannot drag from here, but we can drag from here. And then we have tragedy around, yeah, after 1963. So let's go to our favorite list of tragedies. Maybe this one, 1965. Then she went missing after. So tragedy occurred when locals were reporting their pets missing, but you already had this red eye before that. And this is the police, basically, the police stamp. It was revealed that dozens of animals were found mutilated at the foot of Dragon Oak, although the investigation was quickly resolved. So they did figure out who did this. Bodies were proven difficult to retrieve, and this is also modified due to them decaying faster. Okay, so they were also fed this mushroom thing. What is there hidden about the animal killings? Maybe I missed some of this modifications. Witnesses mentioned that they saw a red glowing dot darting around the area. Yeah, okay, how clear can it be, right? When the mutilation supposedly took place. This sparked a short-lived legend of an angry spirit in the forest. The police stated that this was a baseless rumor, so they resolved this. Yeah, that's a bit weird, right? But the answer they're looking for is clearly this. But what actually happened? So somehow she came back as a witch. Nobody noticed that she had the red eye before. Nobody made that link. Nobody made that link. They did resolve the investigation, which I think means that they figured out who did it, but they didn't figure out it was the red-eyed person in the village. Yeah, good to read this again. So the witch returns to the site to carve the room is Vinny, because there is still a spirit that she wants to please or help or whatever. And then we assume that the emails we get is from the mother of Jan. Hidden sister. To think that the witch was their sister all along. And to think they had a sister to begin with. Well, it's almost unbelievable. I found this document hidden in the archives. It was felt like it was meant to be buried, like it wasn't meant to be found. Document scan. Year 1943 from the police, which wasn't started yet, because the mayor came into power in 43. Transcription. Oh, this is the German research, right? But still stamped by the police. Tree looks to be centuries old. It can be confirmed. There are runes on the tree. Does that make it centuries old? However, it isn't in chalk like the pictogram suggests. Seems to be carved with some carpenter tool, which was the founder was a carpenter, right? Remind soldiers not to trample over the area and be careful of the delicate fungi. They are hard to spot, but they are there. Update to a letter. That's cool. It's possible with a typewriter, especially. Found a letter written a few days after the incident. Which incident? We'll attach it along with these notes. So that's here maybe. Okay, then, so we're basically figuring out who did all the tragedies. Somebody is responsible for another tragedy. They're also responsible for the 2 runes on the oak tree, which I think will be the founding guy for the 2 Slavic, yeah, maybe this. And then this guy was the carpenter. Is that enough proof? Maybe, for now it is. But not sure. The rumors of the tragedy spread across Europe and led to another tragedy. World War II. So what tragedies do we have to pick from still? We have this one. We have done this one. So the Battle of the Forest. Did we read the extra entry about this? I don't think so. I think that was about the occupation. Because that one had the document. Oh wait, no, that is this one. So from 41 to 44, they also did research to investigate an event in the late 1800s, which references the Winterfest. And here we see, okay, lives were lost, doesn't say from which side. So what's the other tragedy? Yeah, you could say it led to this tragedy. Tragedy. But it's a bit too much guessing. So also if the one who committed the festival massacre is not alive afterwards. What was in this letter here? This is the transcription in 43. Then they found a letter a few days after the incident. So we have to find a letter about the festival massacre, I think, to prove more. And we also have more information about that we haven't seen yet. There was a disturbing rumor that the killer carved the runes into the dragon oak as part of festival traditions. Although not much evidence suggests this, it was speculated to be the reason why the festival is no longer celebrated. So the killer carved runes. When cornered, the culprit... Okay. Maybe check out the runes again, the meaning of the 2 runes. This one gives bountiful harvests. No. This one is about growth and decay, which we saw very clearly in this agriculture graph. Some rural communities believe this transition. So he carved these 2 runes during the festival, which also marked the end of the fertile period here. The yearly supplies, yield supplies, okay. So basically, so we can see here the yields are bad and then they spike up and then they go down. And they spike up after, this kind of sacrifice to the tree, right? And then probably the fungi grow. Everything is good. Well, not for the people sacrificed, but with regards to agricultural yields. And then it slows down. And here we see this small bump, which matches the animal cruelty. And then this one is the weird one, the two shortly after another one. Because already this was the offering. And then the second one was somebody trying to sabotage this modern farming initiative. Maybe for the good, because not using this, yeah, well, not sure if it's good or bad. Who's to say, right? So I have my suspicions, although there is a huge time, and it's a bit of a stretch to say that it led, so this Winterfest tragedy led to the World War II tragedy. That's a bit of a stretch, so let's check out. We haven't clicked all links yet. Is there any question marks? No. So maybe this is everything we need. This letter, we haven't found it. We'll attach it along with these notes. Yeah, we don't have access to that, it seems. Yeah, is this enough proof? Is there any bypassed redacted information that we are missing? I think I'll just guess. Traditionally, it's a woman's job to mark sites with rune symbols, as many did in the past. Aha. And the wife took the tools, so this is good that I did click this one. Not sure why, but... So I think it's not about Bogdan, although Alina... Oh no, I thought she was alive for longer, but that was because I thought she was the witch. So Alina... set up the festival. This festival had the tradition of wives taking husband's tools, and we even see that they're drawing it here. So she took the tools, the carpenter tools. Is there stuff in the ledger we missed? So I think that points more towards Alina being responsible. Where was this ledger? Here. Lilia and Volga, which is the mother of Jan. Yeah, she married into the Dragonova family with, what was his name? Attila. So the witch is kind of her adopted sister-in-law. Yeah, we did the whole ledger because that was from later. Jan. Did we read all about Jan already? Attila would be interesting because is he the offspring of the other two? We haven't read this, I think. Yeah, but we concluded this. Jan was infamous for being vocal about his disapproval of the use of the symbiotic ergot. After the plague, that was in the 1990s, he launched the Modern Family Initiative with the primary goal of phasing out the fungi from use. Then we have Attila. Also has more information than meets the eye. Loved bisons. We did read this. He appointed himself sheriff in the... So... Yeah. So he did appoint himself sheriff. Then he got disappeared in the 92. Succeeded by his son. So that's a bit suspicious, right? There is some motive for Jan to do all this. One non-local, and then... Yeah, so there's always this similar amount of people as well, which is enough to feed the fungi. Jan led an investigation. Then we accounted, so... Yeah, I think we should just go with this and this. Although I missed some proof, maybe. But I think this is safe, right? Alina Dragonova is responsible for the tragedy because she used these tools. And we can see on the image or the drawing that that was the moment these runes were added in the... So this is quite certain. And then this is a bit weird. Right, is it fair to say that it led to this other tragedy, or is there another tragedy that we don't know about? Well, would be weird. Yeah, we got this one, including the secret note. This one will be the final one, where Jan is a bit suspicious and the witch is also not fully followed. Summer Plague. Was this about the fact that, yeah, that they were all victims, or yeah, people who went to this doctor? Animal killings was done by the witch, and they saw this person with a red eye, so it feels that I'm missing some proof. Hopefully it will not bite me, but this is correct. Email. Conspiracy. This must have been the beginning of it all. I've heard of the legend before, but always thought it was an old wives' tale to scare me when I was a child. I think we're uncovering a much deeper conspiracy than we thought. Surely someone must have known about all of this. How did these tragedies go unnoticed, unconnected? Yeah, well, somebody is in power of the police force, right? Yeah. That's what I was suspecting. Somebody intentionally led investigations astray. They ousted from the family after the tragedy and covered up mistakes made by after the tragedy. So I think I can almost fill this in already, because this is the doctor. That was what I was saying, right? So they said, well, they figured out what it was, but they didn't do anything. Maybe the witch was ousted, or Volga, but she is the one writing the emails. I think Jan led the investigations astray. So we are now back in the current time. And the mistakes, which is his uncle, not Attila, but... Now this is the science doctor. But we need this doctor. Then we go to the tragedy, the summer plague. I want to read that special entry. Well, I said it was suspicious. Now I know that the animal sacrifice, that one was suspicious, that they figured out who it was. Maybe it was Attila. There were frequent patrons. Yeah, the police said there were no correlation, so that's a lie. But at this point, Attila was the head of the police. But we know this one, that was covered up, but that was his brother. And then I want to read the page about the real name of the witch, Lilia. She had run away. I'm making air quotes here. Yeah, so Lilia Dragonova, or witch, after the tragedy with the animals. That doesn't work. And then it was Attila, being a bad police sheriff with, of course, best intentions for the village, etc., etc. And he is here. Easy. It's funny that both times I thought I immediately knew it, and then I had to rethink it a little bit and then knew it, so it was not Jan but Attila. You've done enough. I don't think this is a good direction to pursue. Yeah, because that's his husband, her husband. You've already done so. Now Lysenko is against us because that's Volga. Popova. You've already done more than enough for the investigation. Your notes have been very helpful, but for now I'm asking you to stop looking into this. Please leave it be. So now I'm sending her a message. You must have been incredibly close to Attila Dragonov. After all, your real name is... And I said it quite early, so I can be a bit proud of that. Is Volga. No. So, that's quite brave to email. Right, I would have just went away in real life. I think I will be done with the case if it starts to get this messy. But that's why I'm not a hero. And the gameplay, person playing this game that we play as, is a hero. So, so now you're just waiting for an email answer to this. And then she said, well, this is wrong assumptions. Attila was my husband, so we are correct. He was everything to me. I loved him and I never imagined he would be involved in whatever this is. So she did claiming not to know about this. I hired you because I wanted to know what happened to him, not to learn what he might have been a part in. Not to learn he might have had a part in it. So Jan also probably did something. I don't know everything he did, but he was always a private man. Please don't assume the worst without proof. There's more at place. There's a reason why there's so many. Tragedies? It's fun because it feels like we're wrapping up, right? We have all the information that's there. But I don't really know where it's going to end up. So that's quite well done. So I'm sitting up straight here now. So many Kozlovka tragedies. Everything traces back to one place and the roots lead back to the Oaken Drag. Yeah, so now we're just kind of mailing back and forth with Volga. Yeah. I don't know how they heard what I said, but Dragon Oak. Roots. Get it? Also the roots go back to the symbiotic ergot, but it says that tree. this is what I'm emailing back. So I did type the whole report. I didn't get this half report with only blanks, I think, in the game. Finish what we started. We've come too far to stop now, says Volga. I suppose we have to see this through. I went through his office. I hate doing it. So there was a second note, right? It feels wrong, but something caught my eye. I don't know why he had this or what it means. Maybe you'll understand it better than I do. Let's check out the doc. So this is the 1992 letter. So I'm sorry, Jan. He was writing this maybe to Attila, but it's impossible. The land is too reliant on the symbiotic ergot. Without it, we just can't. Maybe decades later something can change. But the damage is too dire. Your proposal will fail. So I have to process this. Yeah, something every decade. And there's something else. I think I'm being watched by me. I might know who's behind the recent incidents, but I need to be certain before I say more. I'll explain in person. Alright, so Attila was the one covering up stuff. And the recent incidents are the two things. But he also disappeared in one of these. So what are the recent incidents? So I think this is Attila writing a letter. Who is here? To... No, come on. To Jan. How the... modern... Yeah, how this would fail. I think. That's just literally him. No. Saying this. The proposal will fail. And the recent incidents. Is that the plague? Or is it just... Because I think he is the one disappearing, right? Yeah. So... And that's why, yeah, somebody is trying to hide all this evidence. But maybe Jan is the evil guy. They also... Yeah, that's me writing. So he knows who is... I might know who is behind the recent incidents. Which is the plague. But the recent incident is the summer plague. But how does Jan not know? I think we have to try this answer, that this is about the summer plague and the doctor. So he thinks he knows that the doctor is involved in the tragedy. Well, I think that was very, very obvious, right? And he just tried to sweep it under the rug. But yeah, that's the recent, very recent tragedy. But he says tragedies. Yeah, okay, that's the first time I'm incorrect. But this is weird, because it can only fill in one thing. The letter... No, not this one. So he writes... Attila writes... Maybe something else is wrong. But I don't think so. This is... So, Volga found in the office of Attila this letter to Jan. About... Yeah, so this is all correct. There's something else. I think I'm being watched. I might know who's behind the recent incidents, but I need to be certain before I say more. I'll explain in person. So the obvious other suspect, well, of this, or the one who Attila suspects, is the witch, but that doesn't matter because we have to answer. I might know who's behind the recent incidents, but I need to be for certain. They, Attila, also knew who was involved in the... Oh, we have a desktop as well. Stuff. Nah. Nah, this stuff. Not sure. I think this is flavor, right? Sarnath. Sarnath. Oh, Sarnath, that's the country. So Attila sent a letter to Jan about the initiative that will fail. So I want to read again about this heritage, cultural heritage thing. Also, maybe I'm still missing kind of modified entries. This in 1991, Sarnava gained independence. This is from Hall Sarnava. Dragon Oak. Rune symbols, town ledger. Is that culture? Culture? Doesn't go very far back either, right? Attila, we've learned. What was the extra information? Let's double check that he liked bisons. That he was a sheriff. He appointed himself sheriff. And yeah, a bit ominous mostly. And somebody wanted him to not be the sheriff anymore. Jan. So what was Jan's extra information? Current mayor. Yeah, he hated the Urgot. Then we have the witch. And the medicinal herbs. So she lives on the high street. Can get chalk. Locals vouch for their effectiveness. She advocates for its use in ancient pagan rituals. The medicinal herbs. Agriculture. Bushes. Okay, yeah, we saw this. So every couple decades we need to, I don't know, make a sacrifice to the tree. So what am I missing? I don't really get. So maybe it's just the animal. He's now telling that he knows more about the animal, but he already knew because they had an answer, right? He swept it under the rug. But I think I'm going to try that one as an answer. Animal killings. Maybe read this one more time. We know who did it. And it's in the bleeping database. Who typed up the database? This is from the police force. This was redacted. And swept under the rug. And there's this glowing line, not sure if that's relevant. Tragedy occurred when locals reported pets missing. And she was adopted. So she's not even a real family member. But I think we have to try this one. Not correct. What is this asking? Who was involved in? What's even an answer to that? Because the 90 disappearances. Or is this ongoing while they are writing this email and then they get disappeared in person? So it's being watched. But then who does he suspect? Who's behind the 90s disappearances? "15 people vanished over the course of 2 months. So maybe that's ongoing. And the doctor was number 14, one of the later ones. And he swept this under the rug, right? So why the doctor though? What? They also knew who was involved. Okay, let's read this email again. So Volga went to the office, through the office of Attila. Something caught her eyes, don't know why he had this. Well, he never sent out this email, this letter. Because it's still in the office. Or this is received by Jan. And somebody else sent this letter to Jan. Did somebody else? Is this the doctor? This is the doctor sending it to Jan. And this has been intercepted. So it's still the office of Attila. And it is the doctor sending this email. Yeah, I think this is the doctor, the science doctor, not drug, not, yeah, this one, Ostrovsky, not Dragunov. Did we know what his secret message was? Specialized. Yeah, so he got disappeared. And then the rest is still correct. Yeah, that's it. So this letter got intercepted by Attila. No subject. These are the last of what what I could find. They know. How did they send this? Is always a good meme. They know I've been looking into this. Something happens to me, please find. Who are they? So Jan is also still... No, who is still alive even? The witch? I don't know. Now we get scary music. I'm getting goosebumps. Refer to research note 144. Was that the 3? My dearest daughter. 1892. Do not fear the sacrifice your mother made. Is this... Who's who? So the mother is... the founding mother, I forgot her name. Take the fungi and you will not only survive, you will thrive. This land will remember your name as it remembers hers. With all the love I can still give you, your father. So who is the daughter? I don't know. Wait, can we see something with the file names? These are just made in order. Dear brother, did I click? I read her father's letter. Think about it. If the land feeds on what's given, maybe it doesn't have to end in ruin. Maybe this is how we survive. It's no wonder she ever seemed to age. All this time I need to test it. A few small trials just to see. The thought alone has kept me awake for days. I know how it sounds, but this could change everything. Imagine what we could do for the next 50 years. So this is just after the animal tragedy. They are speaking about the witch. That this is the doctor writing, probably wanted to experiment with this medicine. Dear brother, 1992. Time's running out. I think I'll have to start soon. Jan invited some expert after your clumsy mistake. So this is Attila writing. But I think I can handle them. So they are trying to get rid of Jan and the doctor. Perhaps your trials were not failures. You said they passed in their sleep. It might be the best solution to make it as painless as possible. It's the best we can do for what we're asking of them. For the losses of a few, there are still many. We've read that before. If something happens, please find. So she's still in the village. Is everything alright? Volga. So the puzzle is not so hard on this one. Now we get an email from Town Hall. Contract terminated. Hello. Uh-oh. So it's interesting that she is still alive. She must be quite old. Hello, and Jan is still in power. I'd like to apologize. Well, it's not that long ago. Because it's this place in the end of the 90s. I'd like to apologize for Volga Draganova's actions as of late. Unfortunately, we've decided to terminate your contract. Please cease all prior investigations and send your invoice to the town hall. Oh, that's nice that they still pay. Your services will be paid in full. Thank you for your cooperation. So we get cut off. Who is this? This is Jan, right? So it's a fun way, I think, to hopefully wrap this up, because it is a long video. That we have to fill in the answers, so we make... Yeah, of course. We already know it mostly. There's not much new information, but this gives us new information. So where's Jan? Here's Jan. I think we're emailing with Jan. Can you? Jan Dragunov. That was a good guess, or perhaps you're simply more perceptive than I gave you credit for. Well, thanks. Tell me, what's driving you now? Curiosity? Guilt? Who are we? Or the need to be right no matter the cost? And then we answer, you are probably the only one to understand. Too much blood has spilled in. All say it all together. Too much blood has spilled in. That's right. Kozlovka. And I didn't know what we were uncovering. That's Volga, which we now can navigate to blindly. But now we do, and the world deserves to know. That's right, Jan. Eat that, Jan. Stubborn as a rock. It's good in titles, right? It's so funny. You are naive to think that simply telling everyone is going to solve anything. Truth doesn't heal, it spreads. It divides, it consumes. Fine, I'll let you continue your investigation. You already have everything you need. Perhaps you'll understand the position I've been forced into. Start from the beginning. So the thing is, am I going to continue now? It's so dumb if it's only 5 minutes of play, but I thought it would be over already. Let's just continue and then we'll see. It's a very long video, so hopefully my brain still processes correctly. The letter. Which letter? Start from the beginning. Maybe it's about this letter. Who is the daughter? That's the crazy part, right? So this was written by father. If we assume this is the letter it asks about even, but it says start from the beginning. So this letter is from Bogdan. But who is the daughter? Was she always adopted? So she's a daughter, but she's also adopted. Is the red eye a hint for anything? It suggests that the tragedy Winterfest massacre was a ritual to cultivate more symbiotic ergot. To treat somebody's illness. Take the fungi and you will not only survive, you will thrive. Is this already to the witch? The letter was lost to time, only to be found during the tragedy. And this is in the World War II, I think. Because that's research note 144. Or this was attached to the... They say, well, I found a note and I attached it, right? So... Research note 144 1993 about the tree. And then they found this letter and attached it. So this was found during the Battle of the Forest. Maybe it was both addressed to... Because there's no more people, right? So we have... Yeah, I think it's about Lilia, who's been adopted. These are the sons both of the founding couple. Mother died early. Then she became like a mother. And she never grew older because she took this. Because this is in 1963 where she looks so young. but that means that the other two are so old, right? If they were born in end of 1800s, they are over 100 years old. But maybe they were also taking this stuff. So I think this is both correct, except if there's a daughter. But there are no more persons. Yeah, this is correct. And then I think the assumptions are correct too. So the fact that they stay young is kind of a red herring. Not a red herring, but a way to trick us. Continue. Yeah, okay, next letter. To explain the next letter, I think. Attempting the ritual caused the tragedy. They were caught, took the letter, sent it to excitement. Yeah, this is the doctor. Dear brother, I read her father's letter. This is weird because this is it not their father as well? Or not sure how this works. So her is the witch. So she was, and then her father, that is not their father. That's weird. But this is written by the this is in 9. So who did this tragedy? Attempting the ritual. Yeah, this is the witch. Let's just go for the obvious answers first and then see if there's any misleading going on. So let's put her full name. Lilia. Caused the... Yeah, we already learned that. Or is that the twist that this is going to change still? Don't think so. Oh. They were caught. When they were caught... Attila took the letter and sent... Which letter? The first letter. And sent it to the doctor. And the doctor caused the plague. So Attila took the letter because he was the sheriff. Sent it to this guy, and he was very excited by the medicine, and later, much later, caused the summer plague. Correct. Okay, we are wrapping up. But it did achieve results, right? If we saw the output of the... Or it didn't. Oh, that was the failed one. Maybe animals are not enough. It was the one failed one. Keep going. Very creative. Very weird interaction, but sure. So just to confirm. Yeah, this is the animal killing. It didn't do much. Too bad. Peanut butter. So we have a third letter written in 1992. After the incident, Jan, invited the science doctor to research, blah blah blah. Well, that was 30 years ago. While research was underway, somebody started the ritual once again, causing the tragedy. The plague again? That's a bit weird. Somebody sensed something was wrong and tried to warn you, but Attila intercepted the message. We figured that one out. So now it's also a bit of navigating. So let's fill in what we know. I think there were some gaps still, but Attila intercepted the message. And by Ostrovsky, the outsider, who was invited by Jan. Other rituals on the way. Somebody started. Yeah, there's only one ritual, which is the summer plague. But is that on purpose? Let's read this last letter. Dear brother, time is running out. I think I have to start soon. This is written by the medical doctor. Jan invited some expert, Kazimir Ostrovsky, which is 30 years ago, but that's weird. Well, maybe he studied it for 30 years, but not here. But I think I can handle them. No, this is written by Attila. And who's going to handle Ostrovsky? Yeah, I think maybe it was almost on purpose. And then that means that Dr. Mstislav started ritual, which is the summer plague. But the whole goal was maybe to feed the... not to help these people. So we just tried to maybe in the best way possible find some people and didn't want to massacre. Yeah, or want to make the least damage possible in a way by choosing people who were already close to dying. Not the best choice, not legal advice, but well, it's not correct. After the incident, you invited Dr. Yeah, that's correct. Which incident, though? Yeah, this is the summer plague. Oh. Wait a second. So that was an incident. So he got invited after the summer plague incident. Tragedy. So then the disappearances. Is it Casimir? Is it Mstislav killing his brother? So the tragedy is the 19th disappearances, right? Then, because this is after the incident. Attila also went missing. The doctor went missing. He got taken care of by Attila, because he is the one writing this, right? Dear brother, time is running out. I think I have to start soon. Yeah, the clumsy mistakes were made by the doctor. So this is Attila writing this, and they have this plan to get to feed the fungus again. I have to start soon with this feeding of the fungi. They are going to so they just think, well, then just feed Ostrovsky as well, right? Perhaps trials were not failures. Can we learn anything here? I think we got all information. So I think this is Attila. And then also he's then the 15th, basically. So he did 13. And then thought, well, while we're at it, protect his brother, sacrifice himself, do whatever is possible. That was his motto, right? The ominous medal, ominous message. And he likes bisons. Yeah, I think he sacrificed himself and wanted to protect his brother. This alerted you of the crime. Yeah, so Jan was alerted by the fact that Ostrovsky was killed. I'm assuming you already figured out what happened next. Maybe. There isn't enough evidence, but I can make a calculated guess. Oh, Jan killed Attila. Makes sense. Bam bidi bam. Bidi bang bang. And then maybe he can stop the whole thing. Is he the good guy or is he the bad guy? Nice beard or shadow. Ooh. Oh, wait. My bad. No. Ugh. I'm just too excited. I'm too excited. Not enough evidence. So do we get an email now? We do. What do you email after this? He may have been my father, but by the end he wasn't the man I knew. When I learned what he'd done, what he intended to continue, I had to end it. It was foolish, because in the end the burden fell onto me. The irony of it all. Some truths rot everything they touch. Do you understand why the past had to stay buried? Yeah. Not sure. It's complicated. Who's to say? What we do know, however, is Kozlovka is too reliant on the symbiotic ergot. The town was built on death, on rituals disguised as tragedies, and it's been feeding on that ever since. That's what we're mailing back. But also kind of ruminating more. So we're not blaming Jan. Not sure what the burden was. Is he... Yeah, he has to sweep this under the rug or something. Maybe that's the burden he was speaking about. Do what you must. Casimir, that was the doctor. Casimir only confirmed what I was too scared to admit myself. The town is built on blood, and to extend the country of Sarnava. Why am I now doubting? If we stop the process, people will starve. But what's a measly few? Yeah, we read that before. To sacrifice only every 50 years. Exactly. Who cares? It was a curse inherited by my family, but I've grown tired of the charades. I think in my heart I want someone to know. I won't stop you from doing what you think is right. So, one thing that I'm not thinking, well, now we're mailing with Jan, but what happened to, what happened to Vola? She was one of the good guys. But he didn't want to, so Jan didn't want to get discovered, but now he did get discovered, so, but what happened to Volga? I won't stop you from doing what you think is right. I only wish my mother wouldn't need to know. So he put Volga out of the case, which is his mother. Yeah, this part, maybe will come together. So now we get the choice. Ooh. So now we have the moral choice, guys. What do you think? One in the chat. There's no chat. Well, I'm complacent. I like a bit of mystery. Well, I'm helping Jan. Are you there? Things are quiet. The fields are green again. The harvest looks like it will strong this year. So that's good, right? I did good. My son hasn't... Oh, this is Volgas. Hasn't said much. But he brushed it all off as a misunderstanding. So from her perspective, it's so weird. She just got thrown out of the case. Guess some things don't change. She is a bit naive, right? She just believes every silent person in her family, their husband and her son. Can't help but feel like there's still something wrong. I know you've not replied to my previous emails, but please give me a sign. Do we get more moral dilemmas? Ah, no. That's for us to say. Love this picture, by the way. Beautiful. Yeah. good game. What can I say? Yeah, I liked it. Hope you liked it. Maybe I'm going to cut this into 3 episodes. I am really a fan of this type of game with this length. So I had a lot of fun on this Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, both parts. It's a nice way to digest a story. I'm always thought of myself of not liking history, not liking stories, but I think this way where you interactively go through it, I really like it. Bit of history, although fake history, bit of mystery. So I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too if you got to this end. And in any case, thanks for watching, and from the devs, thank you for playing.